The following production is brought to you by the Talkin Buds Leafs Show.
Here we go. Talkin Buds Leafs Show, episode 284. Listen, we've been doing this a long time. This is season 7 for us. The fact of the matter is, when you make Leaf content, turmoil sells. Like, views go through the roof. Whenever the team is in chaos or disarray, that's when people engage with your content the most. So anyone who makes Leaf content, as much as we are all diehard fans of this team and want them to succeed, and we do, 100%, they're lying to you if they don't admit that when the team is struggling, we don't reap rewards from it. We absolutely do.
But there's one caveat to that. The team still has to be good.
Yeah, the team's... Yes, that's true. That's true.
We haven't done a last place season yet.
That's right. That's a good point. If the team stinks and is out of the playoffs, then I think people are checked out altogether. But if the team is like, oh no, we're a contender, but we're going to stink it up for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the sweet spot for Leaf content, without a doubt. So that being said, the fact of the matter is, Ryan, we're coming on here after a weekend of back-to-back wins. And as we sit here right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are 1 point away from clinching the Atlantic Division and a round 1 matchup with the Ottawa Senators. So they need to they've got 2 games this week. They got Tuesday night against the Buffalo Sabres, and they got Thursday night against the Detroit Red Wings. They need to either tie or win one of those games, or Tampa needs to lose. And I do not have the Tampa Bay Lightning's remaining schedule in front of me. I will pull it up shortly. But they've got, so Tampa's got tomorrow night against the Florida Panthers, and then Thursday against the Rangers. So it's right there. It's right there for the taking. And we're going to talk a little bit about the games this weekend, but with it being on the horizon, you've talked a lot about the importance of winning the division and that being an accomplishment for this team. My question to you is, will you still feel that way if 2 weeks from now, 2.5 weeks from now, they're eliminated in the first round of the playoffs?
Fuck no. Kidding me? That's the worst question ever. No, it won't matter at all. I mean, in the moment, it matters. And I think it's a big deal. And it's a big deal to me because it signifies that it wasn't like they ran away with this. Like, the fact that it got tight and it got all jumbled up together and they still found a way to get some wins. And I mean, they've won 8 of their last 10. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you would think they're fighting for a playoff spot with the way we react over things. But I think it's just also the importance of actually winning a tight race as well. It's not just like the rest of the division sucked. They've beaten the teams that they needed to beat to win this division. And I think for that moment going into a series, it's an accomplishment, 100%. And I'm really, and I think they can get 1 point in the next 2 games. I think, I don't want to jinx them here, but I think it's a pretty good chance that this is going to happen. I think
the Buffalo Sabres are the kryptonite of this era of Leaf hockey. Right. So you never know.
But I think
Red Wings strike me as a team that are ready. The Red Wings are like, let's get out of here.
Yeah. No, I think the 2 wins this weekend really signify me feeling confident going into these next 2 games, because those are the game on Saturday. That's a game I've seen them lose 100 times, and they found a way to pull it out. And then how many times did they go into Carolina and they usually get outshot like they did in the first period, but then they kind of suck when they're there, and then all of a sudden they pull that game out and they pull a rabbit out of their hat and they end up having a good night. So I do feel confident that they'll be able to get this done. And I think every single year we start this podcast and we go, win the division. And then at some point this year, I was like, they're not going to win this division. But the fact that they are, I think they should really, really feel good about it.
Knock on wood right now, or someone's going to come for you. Well,
if they don't win the division, then they suck. Like it's just like I'm not even worried about jinxing it at this point. Like you can get 1 point against two pretty bad teams in the last two games of the year.
I think that we should feel good about, like, we're talking about how they didn't run away with the thing. They've scratched and clawed all the way to the end. Every game since like a couple Saturdays ago against the LA Kings has felt like a playoff game. It's been like super high intensity, no space out there. And I think in past years, they've kind of coasted into the playoffs. The division was out of reach. I think a difference this year, and again, we will come on here in 2.5 weeks if they get eliminated and say that we're idiots and we don't know what we're talking about. But like, I think a difference this year, things to feel good about. All right. They've been playing high intensity playoff style hockey for the last few weeks going into the playoffs. They're in a dogfight. They have something to play for. They're motivated. They have a coach who, anyone who covers the team and is there every day is saying he's dialed the intensity way up in the practices and is like, he understands. I think a criticism of Sheldon Keefe, and I think you're seeing it again this year a little bit with the New Jersey Devils. Granted, the Devils are super banged up, but I don't think Sheldon Keefe knows how to do that, and I think Craig Berube knows how to do that, and I think he's stressing to these guys like, hey, listen, it's go time now. Like, even though like these are still regular season games, we got to win these games. And you just brought up the Saturday night win against the Montreal Canadiens. Man, the Sunday night win against Carolina, that's as gutsy of a win as they've had all year. Like, back to back. So you're playing the next day. You got to travel to Carolina, a 5:00 start. You come out, you look just completely dead in the first period. Carolina dominates them in the first period, but they settle in and they win the game 4-1. Berube makes a couple lineup adjustments, low event hockey, get some good goaltending from Joe Woll, and here you go. You win 4 points on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was I had two really impressive wins. It was just it wasn't pretty at times, but I think this whole year, if you just look at it, it's been obviously we're haunted by the past mistakes and the trauma that we've had over the past 7 years, these guys blowing it. But if you're just looking at it this season, I think the way they've been able to win a lot of hockey games that they don't deserve to win, or win a lot of hockey games a lot of different ways, or find ways to just get points and keep ahead in the standings. I mean, overall, I know people will be like, well, they still got Marner and Matthews, and I get it, but this has been a really, really great year. And I know this isn't the most points they've ever gotten in a season, but I think everyone who watches this team on a nightly basis or every single time they're on would agree that it has been a little bit different in the sense that they've won a lot of games that they usually haven't won in the past in terms of gutting out wins and back-to-backs. And I think it's been a really, really impressive year in the regular season.
Yeah, you can't take that away from them.
Now I'm not saying playoffs, okay? I'm not saying that. So anyone who's going to comment, I get it. I know they've been good in the regular season. I know they're regular season players. But let's just give them, I'm just going to give them a little bit of credit here. I'm not letting them off the hook. Give them a little bit of credit that this has been a really fantastic year as a team. Multiple 30-goal scorers. You have 2 goalies with 20 wins for the first time in franchise history. You got a new coach trying to implement new systems and everything else going on around it. And they've ended up in a really good spot and put themselves in a good position going into the playoffs.
You've also done it with Austin Matthews being nowhere close to the goal scorer he's been in previous years. He has 75 points, so like statistically, it hasn't been that bad a year for him. But you've done this. You're at a point where you're contending for the division and are the favorite to win the division at this point in time, with Austin Matthews not having his best year.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Nyes made up all his goals.
It's true. Matthew Nyes. So I think one thing I wanted to revisit, we're going to talk about a couple lineup stuff today. Your favorite. I think we're going to go with the goalies to start this thing off. Joe Woll was fantastic on Sunday night again against Carolina. I think at this point in time, Stolarz is the guy. I think he's going to get the start in game 1, but I do not think that he has run away with this and he's the clear cut. I think going into this series, if one of these guys has a shaky outing, the other one's going in there the very next night.
I'm saying that all year. It's that's why I've never been anoint the guy. It's been just whoever wins that game 1 is going to be the goalie. They're going to go with Stolarz. I think it's pretty much 100% at this point, just based on how they've kind of shaked out the who's been playing which game. But yeah, if Stolarz is absolutely garbage the first game, you have another 26 game winner on your bench ready to come in and see what he can do.
Couple episodes
good
ago,
position.
Couple episodes ago, we did a pros and cons of playoff performance. Ryan, I want you to do a pros and cons for me right now of Anthony Stolarz and Joe Woll. Let's start with Stolarz. Pros of Anthony Stolarz.
I think just on paper, anytime somebody's tall, like anyone who's played sports growing up, when you got a big dude who's athletic, and it's just always very impressive, and the ceiling just seems like it's higher for some reason, just because the guy's taller, maybe because he can touch it easier because he is taller. And I don't know, what are the cons of Anthony Stolarz other than the fact that he got hurt? Or
the cons of Anthony Stolarz is I know you roll your eyes at this, but lack of experience. That goes for Joe Woll too.
Yeah.
And yeah, health. But to me, like, the pros of Anthony Stolarz are, I think he's been the more steady guy all year.
Yeah, he's got better numbers.
Joe Woll has had real highs, but I don't remember a game where we've come away going, Stolarz, that was rough.
Yeah. How many bad games has he had this year? Like 4? Like, I don't know. Like, there's been a couple, but yeah, for the most part, I'm never like, this guy can't. He's running around, he's swimming around, he's letting pucks go above his shoulder. Like, I don't know. There's never really been a criticism about how he's played the net to me all year. I think he's been really good, and his numbers back that up too.
Also, a thing with Anthony Stolarz is, I know he was the backup last year, but he was on that Florida Panther team, and he had a front row seat to watching Sergei Bobrovsky, and he just seems like a guy who's super motivated. The one thing I love about him is, like, you can hear him when you're watching the game. You can hear him out there yelling at his teammates. I also think he's a bit of a better puck handler than Joe Woll is, and maybe that's the wrong way to put it. He doesn't take as many risks when coming out to handle the puck the way Joe Woll does. Now,
I don't really care about that.
If you look at Joe Woll, pros of Joe Woll, I think if both of these guys are playing at their absolute best, Joe Woll is the higher ceiling. If both of these guys are playing at their absolute best, I think Joe Woll has the ability to be an elite goaltender in this league.
Now that's an opinion.
Yes, I think that's what I think. I also think he played for you last year. He got them back in that Boston series last year, and he was spectacular in every game he played against the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
And when he's been on this year, he's been spectacular.
Even when he played the year before against Florida. He was pretty good. Like, he was okay.
Yep. Cons of Joe Woll. Obviously, he's had moments this year. There have definitely been a few games this year where we've come away going, "Oof, Joe Woll, that was not pretty." And also, what happened last year, Game 7 against the Bruins, is still burned in everybody's mind. And that could happen to Anthony Stolarz too, but just not being available for the most important game of the season is a big, big problem. And that's what both of these guys, if there's one thing you're nervous about with both of these guys, now, they've done a pretty good job this year. They both had Woll had his time at the beginning of the season. Stolarz had his time in the middle of the season. But for the most part, the two of them have rotated back and forth and haven't had, knock on wood, health issues this year.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel negative about anything when it comes to these two guys. I think Woll's been healthy all year. Stolarz had something happen and he could get hurt again. But at least you got two guys now, though. Like, I think at the end of the day, when I compare them in net, I think Joe Woll has a hard time starting on time sometimes. Like, Joe Woll's a great finisher. Like, there was so many times this year where he let in 3, but then he shut it down and they were able to get back in the game and win that game. And that was like a strong suit of his. It's kind of that Grant Fuhr thing going on that they always refer to on the broadcast. But I think if I just had to compare them, I think Anthony Stolarz hasn't really had that where he lets in 3 kind of whatever goals at the start of the game and then he shuts it down. I think that would be the only thing I would say that Stolarz has over him. But I mean, at least you have 2 guys now. So if one guy goes down, then the other one's got to step up and do their thing. I feel really good about the goaltending going into the playoffs. It's not a concern to me at all. I think they're in a really good spot with it.
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays.
I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call.
Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
So, for whatever reason, we go back to this thing where they've taken Bobby McMahon off the second line and they put Calle Jarnkrok there for a couple of games. The black hole of offense, Calle Jarnkrok. And there's two reasons, I think, for this. One, they want to spread the scoring wealth out a little more because you've said all year that third line has no identity. Like, what is it that they do well? And as much as Calle Jarnkrok is just the most offensively inept hockey player I've ever seen, coaches really like his defensive game. That's what Keefe loved about him, and that's what I think Berube loves about him.
So sick of guys like this.
And so I think they put him up there because they're like, well, Johnny and Willie aren't the best in their own end, so we put a defensively responsible player in Jarnkrok there and whatever. It's not working. So in the Carolina game, Jarnkrok's out. Well, actually, no, they started the Carolina game with Holmberg on that line, who, again, I know he scored against Carolina, but my God, black hole of offense.
This guy's a fourth liner, okay?
Berube puts Domi up there, and he instantly just clicks, and everything looks good. And what have we said about Max Domi in his entire time here with this Leaf team? When he's with elite players, that's when you get the best version of Max Domi. And he clicked. And I wonder if this is a thing that we're going to see in these final two games this week. And if we move, if it stays like this, because going into the playoffs and having either a Jarnkrok or a Holmberg on that second line is not going to work, Craig. It's not. You need to either have Bobby McMahon there or you need to have Max Domi there. Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing else really. I mean, I don't really understand that McMahon. When McMahon was on that line, they were like the best line ever for like 5 games. And then all of a sudden he just went away from it. And when I watch Calle Jarnkrok, I just kind of see Alex Kerfoot at this point. It's
Yes.
like, come on. Like, I know I don't know. Maybe I don't watch the details of the game enough to really respect his defensive prowess, but is he out there shutting down top players? Like, no, like I don't know. He's just a guy who just skate. He looks like he's always working his hardest, but he's always just a little bit out of reach, or he's always just a little bit behind. It's just, I don't get it. I'm over it. I'm over this conversation. It's ridiculous. Calle Jarnkrok should not be on the second line. Max Domi can't carry a line on his own. It's pretty clear now. I understand. Maybe if you want to spread the scoring out, I can buy that. That's a reason why you do that. I guess that's the only defense of it. But I mean, Calle Jarnkrok is just not a very dynamic NHL player right now. And Pontus Holmberg is a fourth line hockey player. That's it. That's all he is. And it's fine. He does a good job. He works hard. He chased 7 goals this year. Like,
where is Max Pacioretty going? Max Pacioretty's playing in the playoffs. That's happening. So where is he going and who is coming out? I have a difficult time believing that they're going to put him on that second line because the guy hasn't played in forever. And I think putting him in a top 6 role in playoff hockey is a lot to ask of a Max Pacioretty. So where are you putting him and who are you taking out?
God, I don't even know, man. I don't even who's coming out. It's either Yarncroc
or Robertson.
Robertson. Like they're not going to take Lorentz out. They're not taking.
You and I are
out.
bipolar with our discussions of Nicky Robertson because and I think we're fair. Like I think when he plays well, we're the first to give him credit, and I think when he stinks, we're the first one to say he stinks. That guy is working his bag off right now to make sure he is in the lineup for game one. He is out there. You texted me on Saturday during the Montreal game. He's a little water bug disruptor out there.
Yeah, he's got to be a little shit disturber a little bit.
Yeah, and like that's the type of stuff he needs to do in order to stay in this lineup. But yeah, if you just look at their bottom six, okay? Like right now, Bobby McMahon, absolutely not. Pontus Holmberg is Craig Berube's favorite hockey player.
Yeah.
Nick Robertson, I don't know. Maybe. Steven Lorentz, no. Berube loves him too. Scott Lawton, no. They gave up a first-round pick for him. So yeah, it's either Yarncroc or it's Robertson that's coming out for Max Pacioretty.
Also, like, why are we just anointing Max Pacioretty? Why does he deserve to be back in the lineup?
I think because he's a veteran guy because I think he's a better option than Calle Yarncroc.
Probably.
And I think if Nick Robertson isn't playing at his best, he's a better option than Nick Robertson.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing, if Max Pacioretty didn't show me that he was willing and able to throw the body earlier this season, I would say he's in that mix too. But I think in a playoff series, especially if it's against the Ottawa Senators who aren't afraid to be physical, I think it's important to have every single guy out there who is able to throw a hit or punch a guy back or whatever. So, I mean, I just don't like, I would honestly rather see Nick Robertson in the lineup at this point because it's just like, I don't care about Calle Yarncroc, man. It just, if you're someone sticking up for Calle Yarncroc, like I'm not that guy. He's a nobody. He's just somebody who's just out there. I don't know what he does. At least Nick Robertson like gives you some excitement. He turns the puck over. He tries to be physical. He gets nailed. He could score a goal when you need a beauty goal when you need one. Like at least he's providing me some entertainment out there. I don't even know when Calle Yarncroc's on the ice. I don't even know. Calle Kerfoot. I don't. That guy's useless.
I think we need to remember too that Craig Berube is old school, and what do old school coaches love? They love veterans.
Yeah,
and I think
true.
Max Pacioretty is a veteran, and I think that'll win out over a Nick Robertson if a guy like Berube, like Sheldon Keefe, for instance, maybe not, like a kind of a younger, more new school coach, but an old
hated Nick Robertson.
He did. Sorry, so maybe that's a bad example. I was just trying to think of
a
new school coach. Yes, the like Berube. He's an old school guy, and I think he loves having that veteran. And yeah, Ryan, Max Pacioretty was crushing guys at the beginning.
I think he should be in the lineup. I didn't mean that in the sense where it's just like it seems like we're talking about him like he's like just some goat. But yeah, I just don't. Calle Yarncroc, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, the guy isn't physical. Basically, you're trading a small guy. Like, is Calle Yarncroc any more physical than Nick Robertson? Like, I don't think so.
No, I don't understand. Calle Yarncroc would be my guy that comes out.
Nick Robertson gets nailed because he's in a position where he's like working hard enough to like engage in physical contact. Calle Yarncroc is 4 steps behind, not even there yet. So it's just I don't know. I'm so sick of this guy already. I want him out of the lineup.
Morgan Riley set up the Austin Matthews goal in Carolina. Could we potentially see playoff Morgan Riley in a couple weeks?
Yeah,
this guy,
sick of slandering this guy. I love him.
I tell you what, though, there is no player in history that could just a fresh start like him. In game one, it's a whole new season for this guy. It does not matter what happened in the previous 82 whatsoever. You go out and you look like you did in the Tampa series 2 years ago, everyone will be like, I do not care about this guy's regular season ever again if he plays like this in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, I think he basically had the exact same year he had that season. Like, he also didn't have a great season that year. He played 15 less games, but he had 41 points, and he was also a minus player, and then he turned it on in the playoffs. So it's basically the exact same year he's having right now. That's all I can hope for. I'm sick of slandering my guy. He's my boy, so I really hope he can just turn it on and shut everybody up.
Well, Ryan, we're kind of a shorter one today. We've got 2 games left this week. As we said earlier, the Leafs need 1 point, so we're going to be looking for that, man. How ready are you to just put this regular season in the rearview mirror?
So ready.
How ready?
So ready. I know there's pain coming, but I don't care. It's been a grind. Just so close to being over. I feel good about where they are too. Maybe if they let it slip and they were in 3rd place right now, I'd probably be a little more pissed off, but they've been resilient. Like, we sometimes I laugh, like, thinking about our last couple episodes where we come on here and spaz, but it's like they're legit 8-1-1 in their last 10. Like, they've literally just won a lot of hockey games.
Yeah,
since the 4 Nations.
Yeah.
Since the 4 Nations, they've been the best team in the league, probably, like, other than Montreal, maybe. Like, they've won a lot of hockey games. So as much as we've cried and whatever, like, at the same time, they've been a really goddamn good team, and I'm really proud of the way they've played this season.
Can I just this just popped into my mind. I wanted to make a point of it today. I really hope after watching these last few games, we can stop talking about everybody's favorite hockey player, Phil Myers. Oh my God. Like, no thanks, Phil Myers.
Thanks.
That guy
stinks.
Watching that guy handle a puck in his own end is horrifying.
Can't skate. Can't skate. Can't skate. That decor, I would love if they had a guy on that 3rd pairing who could move his feet a little bit. Their D is the best it's ever been, but there's not a lot of dudes back there who can skate.
Well, I mean, it's like Benoit is the better option. Benoit is a better skater.
That's what I've been saying.
He's tougher.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm
more
sorry.
in the play. Like,
you've said it, and I agree. The only thing Phil Myers has going for him is he can wire one from the blue line,
but he doesn't score though. So it's
no,
like, what good is it anyway?
My God, man, there are a few instances in the Montreal game on Saturday night watching him handle the puck in the D zone. Holy. It is.
I don't want to say. I was joking. I don't think he stinks, but I like Benoit better than he does, better than him. So
yeah, if we're talking 6 defensemen here, and clearly Craig Berube agrees because Benoit's been in there almost every night.
Yeah,
and
Benoit
Phil
was
Myers
good last year too. Like it's 2 pretty solid years for a guy you had 0 expectation for whenever he came in here.
Yeah. I'm just seeing a tweet here from Luke Fox that says Morgan Riley 5-on-5 with Brandon Carlo. Maple Leafs outscoring opponents 12-8. Riley 5-on-5 without Carlo. Maple Leafs outscored 50-47. So we're talking about the recently improved play of Morgan Riley, and I think it has a lot to do with bringing in Brandon Carlo as his defense partner.
Yeah. Great trade.
Yeah, great trade. All right.
What about Scott Lawton coming out of the lineup? You think that's an option?
You
think Craig Berube sits in his office and he goes, honestly, I kind of wish I could take this guy out of my lineup, but I just don't think we can.
If there weren't politics around it, like what they gave up for him at the deadline, I think he's the first choice.
Why is he just Scott Free,
the first choice?
Like, why is he just whatever?
Because they gave up a first round pick for him.
I know. That's why it's kind of like stupid. Like it's just. But yeah, Yarncroke is also just like, I'm done with this guy. I'm finished with him. Get rid of him.
Oh man,
Seattle.
We're about to dive headfirst into some playoff hockey. Just had an epic sports weekend this past weekend with the Masters, and 2 Leaf games, and the Blue Jays. And then next weekend,
Blue Jays.
Next weekend, there's Stanley Cup playoffs starting. There's the NBA playoffs. There's WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Just back to back.
Best time of year.
Epic
I don't care what
sports
anybody
weekends.
Says.
So the Leafs have 2 games this week, as I've mentioned a couple times. The Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday, then the Detroit Red Wings on Thursday. Ryan and I will be back on Friday. We are going to do a Leafs versus Senators or Panthers playoff preview, and we're also probably going to give our predictions for the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So if you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below. And then when the puck drops on game 1, we will be back after every single Leafs playoff game. So if you'd like, once again, if you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same.
At least play the Panthers in the first round. I'm not doing a playoff preview. So spread the word, tell your friends.
Okay, well, he's going to do a playoff preview because we're going to do a playoff preview.
There's no point.
I don't know how much previewing he's going to do, but
We should be previewing the next season if they play the Florida Panthers in the first round. Spread the word, tell your friends.
we really appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Friday.